We'll top out near 78, 61 tonight. Sunny, breezy. Beautiful Tuesday ahead, high of 84. Currently 71. Next news coming up at 9, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Looking forward to the Dem Socialist debates Wednesday and Thursday this week. If the antics on the campaign trail are any indication, I mean, I love it when you have all these candidates out there and it's a race to see who can defile themselves the most.
Well, I know.
You showed me video of Kamala Harris dancing in South Carolina.
Well, yeah, that was the way they greeted her. She was at an event, and they're playing the drums, and so everyone's dancing. So she would look awkward if she didn't dance. So she tried. I mean, she did better than Rahm Emanuel. Remember when he would dance? And he's a ballerina.
That's true.
And it was so embarrassing.
Yeah, that's true.
But they have to be put into awkward situations. That's just part of the camp. And because you ran for governor. So.
Do caucus in a tank. Yeah, but I mean, if
caucus in a tank.
I didn't go to parades, if somebody's like, like I went to a black church and like dancing and stuff, I'm not going to dance.
Yeah.
I don't dance. So I'm not going to do it now.
I don't dance at white churches or Hispanic churches or Episcopalian churches. So, I don't dance.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
not a dancer.
I'm every man for every situation for every season. Okay, sure you are. Eric Swalwell, remember,
this is so
he is the little-known Republican or
who is he again?
Democrat congressman from California. He is the one, if you recall, who suggested that if gun owners don't want to give up their guns, hey, we have nuclear weapons. That's Eric Swalwell, who's a former federal prosecutor. Now, this is Eric Swalwell in South Carolina trying to get anybody to pay attention to him. He's got
who?
Jim Clyburn T-shirt on. Clyburn is the House Majority Whip, and it was his event down there in South Carolina for Democrat aspirants. And listen to Swalwell. You want to talk about prostrating yourself.
Our candidates are a part of the Avengers. We're here to save America. The Republicans, that's the Hunger Games.
The Republicans back the Hunger Games.
No, that's the Hunger Games. We're the Avengers here to save America. And then you just saw tumbleweeds roll by. I mean, I can't wait for those zingers to fly on Wednesday and Thursday night. These are those one-liners. This is going to be my indelible moment. This is going to be when I break out from the field, when I deliver this pow. And then it falls flat in an empty room, and many of them will on Wednesday and Thursday as well. For more on the 2020 race and other such topics, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend and NFL great Super Bowl champion, Burgess Owens, founder of the national mentoring program Second Chance for Youth, author of Why I Stand, From Freedom to the Killing Fields of Socialism. Burgess, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Dan, Amy, really looking forward to chatting with you guys again for sure.
Okay. Hey, so let's start with your testimony before that House Judiciary Subcommittee last week on reparations. You were there with Coleman Hughes testifying on behalf, or testifying, frankly, against the issue, and you recounted your family's history in this country. But if you can, just recast what you had to say, the little history lesson you gave the Democrat members of the House Judiciary Subcommittee.
Well, what the left, and the biggest point I made, I think at the beginning, was that we are truly fighting against ideologies. It's socialism and Marxism. It's never worked. It's not working now, and it's something we need to understand that it's a battle that we have to fight and win. But at the end of the day, what the left does is they steal our history, leave a big black hole where, in particular with the black community, where they go from slavery to being aggressed and oppressed and put upon race, hapless race, for over a century, and then of course they came and were our saviors in 1960 with the voting rights bill. So that's the big hole they put in place, and then what they do is try to make us not only angry, but feel that we are owed something from our country. What the truth of America is that we've done so many things together. That's we the people were the best of any place in the history of mankind here in this country. We see what we've done together across the board, and when you do that, we feel very, very proud of who we were in the past. We don't apologize for our ancestors anymore, and it gives us an idea of what we do in the future as we do the same thing. Come together, be harmonious, have the same core values that made our country great. If we do that, we move forward. We just have to fight against the other side, which is trying to divide us.
I just want to have one follow-up, because there was a moment that didn't get enough attention. We talked about it on this show. After Coleman Hughes testified, you were there. After he testified, basically explained that though he's never voted for any candidate other than the Democrat, he's not really affiliated with either party, and he is opposed to slavery reparations, even though he said they should have been conferred after the Civil War during Reconstruction. And he supports what I would call compensatory damages for victims of Jim Crow who lived under Jim Crow. But there was this moment where he got booed by those in attendance. Mm-hmm. And then the subcommittee chairman, Stephen KFC Cohn, said, hey, calm down. He's presumptive, but he should be allowed to speak. I thought that was such a condescending, smarmy little answer. I was hoping that you would run up there and tackle him.
Well, but you're right. You nailed it. And it's interesting that Americans are seeing that across the board. The left are racist. Understand, they look at the black race as being hapless, hopeless. They need to, they're the Avengers. They come and save us from all the bad, the boogeyman. And that's what you saw there. The other thing you have to understand is that the left are cowards and bullies. That young man made some very good points, but he made the mistake of letting them know he was vulnerable. When you say that I'm here, I don't want the left to not like me, and when you do all that stuff, then they're going to do the very best they can to ruin you and to destroy you. And so we have to understand that part of it. It's going to take courage to go against these guys because they are truly their end game is to destroy if they can. And I have a lot of respect for that young man. He had a lot of courage to come up. He started his career very, very smart, and if they ever listen to him, they can get a lot of knowledge about how to move forward. He can represent our leadership and then move forward. But of course, those that were there, they weren't there to listen to the other side. They're the beggars. They're the beggars. They want to demand something from us, from America. And if you don't come across the way they want to, they're gonna go after you. So
and they brought in some
interesting.
They brought in some star power. I mean, you were there, of course, but Danny Glover was there. What did you think of his testimony?
Well, I have to understand, Danny Glover was the one who ran down to Venezuela 15 years ago to embrace the socialism. These guys, they're the same people. I mean, at the end of the day, the socialists do not like the way that our country has moved forward, the Judeo-Christian values, the idea of capitalism, pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps. That comment was made during the conference is kind of a put down, as if it's something that we cannot do. So no, it's the same old group of folks that 14, 15 years ago that were wrong. They're wrong then. They're wrong today. Venezuela is a mess, and they will not go down there. Of course, embrace the people who are doing it now because they don't want to be they don't want to be shown to tie into it at this point.
It's a fascinating tweet from Elizabeth Warren over the weekend. Now that the reparation floodgates are open, she wants to extend them. It wasn't until marriage equality became law that gay and lesbian couples could jointly file tax returns, so they paid more in taxes. Our government owes them more than $50 million for the years our discriminatory tax code left them out of being able to joint file. We must right these wrongs. Reparations for gay couples because they couldn't jointly file tax returns, Burgess.
Yeah, well, I have to understand, this is just the old camel nose under the tent. The whole thing with reparations, for those who don't know, it began back in 2001 on the campuses of Berkeley and Brown, and they're started by socialists and communists, and that's what they do. And by the way, guys, none of this will make any sense. Don't if you're trying to use common sense, critical thinking in terms of how this would work out, it's going to drive you nuts. So don't even go there. Just know that at the end of the day, they're trying to divide. They right now know that America will not ever go for reparations. So what they're doing is going for the low information voters, those who believe in welfare, those who feel that they are owed something because they've made some very bad decisions, and they want them to get out and vote. It's all about the vote.
I mean,
these guys could care less about the people. They want the vote. And
Well,
if they do that, they'll forget them again.
There's no real appetite for this in the Democratic-led Congress to go through with approving reparations. Correct? That was just a dog and pony show the other day.
Well, isn't it what they really want to do is be able to say, I mean, for all their talk about on the topic of immigration, it's because conservatives fear the other. It's actually they who demagogue the other, and what they're doing with this reparations play is to say, whoever our nominee is, we're going to cast Trump and all the Republicans for Congress as racists. It's just their latest predicate to call people who disagree with them racist.
And that's what they do. Keep in mind, remember, I don't know if you remember, I made a point. 2017, the study came out that 75% of black boys in the state of California cannot pass standard reading and writing tests. That's a reality. You notice how quiet those guys were? They didn't act like they were shocked or surprised. They didn't follow through with any kind of comment about what they can do. These guys would care less about the black community. I mean, I'm talking about the biggest threat to the black community are black elitists. The Black Caucus, the NAACP, all those guys who made it have become wealthy, become very powerful, and they do it by turning on their own race. So they're not looking for answers, guys, and everything they come up with, it will always be divisiveness. They're trying to turn the black race into racist, trying to make sure the rest of America realize that we are truly a race that could not do nothing but sit back and wait for the white man to take care of us. That's what I remember growing up in the Deep South, that the Democratic KKK and Jim Crow and Democratic Party, they're now doing the same thing, only they're doing it in a high-tech fashion. And unfortunately, have too many people that have not been educated. Either they're feeling guilty, white Americans feeling guilty because of their skin color, which is a shame, or blacks feeling angry because they feel that they are owed something for something that they've never, ever had anything to do with.
Do you think President Trump is fully capitalizing on the opportunity there to make a pitch to middle-income black families around the country who are not buying into the rap that those black elitists, self-appointed civil rights leaders are providing?
Oh, absolutely. You have to understand, and to make this point, the policies that should be put together are not black policies, white policies, Italian policies, Hispanic policies. It's American policies. You put together a process in which people are getting jobs. They're not sitting at home wondering if they can pay their bills. The kids are going to the better schools. They have a bright future, and they're thinking positive about their future. That's the American way. And if you want to find a way to continue to stay in power, give people hope, a positive experience, and they will, and what they're actually experiencing themselves, not just a hype. You'll find a party will stay in power.
But doesn't Trump and other Republicans, don't they need to make the appeal explicit?
I think Trump needs to continue to show the success he has and allow black conservatives across the country to make the points that we've been used. Mm-hmm. And when I say black conservatives, that's poor, middle class, wealthy, across the board, and that's what's happening today. The black community is coming off the plantation, and that's exactly when 92% of us are no longer voting for the Democrats. That's why they need to open these borders. They need to find people to come into this country to make dependent, not Americans, have no idea about our values, and vote for them. So that's why this open borders is so crazy, because the black community is finally leaving, and the Hispanic community also has some very core conservative values. Once we can connect with those values and talk about that versus what the left is trying to do to disparage people who don't believe like they do, then we'll win this battle. Because at the end of the day, we still believe in our Judeo-Christian foundation. And once we connect with that, we'll win this fight for sure.
He is NFL great Burgess Owens, and also a successful businessman, author. Pick up his books, especially